The following program contains the views and opinions of the hosts, speakers, and participants. They do not reflect the policies of the producers, advisors, and advertisers of AU's Paws Radio. Its advisors, advertisers, nor the position of Adelphi University, the Board of Trustees, administrative faculty, or its affiliates. Paws web radio station encourages freedom of speech but does not endorse any specific viewpoints or messages. Listener discretion is advised, especially for potentially sensitive or controversial topics.
Hello, it's Tayla, and welcome back to Inner Monologue. Wow, today is my first day recording in the studio, and I'm so excited. I have been doing this over my phone this entire time, and I'm really excited to be in the Paws radio studio right now. The past week has been definitely strange, definitely weird. As we all know, it's been rough. So I want to make this episode about different outlets to express yourself, different outlets to be yourself in, because I think we all really need that right now. I'm going to be super candid. The day after the election, I was just hanging out with my girlfriend in Garden City, and I was like, wow, so many of these people are so different than me. And I think it's a good time for me to remind myself and to talk about ways to express yourself and to be yourself, especially in spaces that maybe you don't relate to, maybe you're not into, whatever. It's definitely been an interesting time. I hope the audio sounds okay on this. It's sounding good to me. This is so fun. I love speaking into a microphone. Anyway, yeah, I feel like for a long time I've struggled to find like really consistent spaces to express myself. But I remember in middle school I had fan accounts and I was so active on those. I truly think that like nothing else can give me the experience I need to work in social media like a fan account can. Because wow, I was like working 9 to 5 on that shit. Like that was my everything, and I had multiple. I had one for Stranger Things, I had one for like BTS and anime and stuff and K-pop, and then I just had my regular Instagram. And like, damn, I was on that like all the time, making edits, making posts, talking to people online, so much of that. And I don't have fan accounts anymore, but like I still express myself through social media, but I think it's a little bit different now because on like my personal accounts or even my professional account, like I follow people I know or have met like a couple of times, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they're into the same things as you. It doesn't necessarily mean that they like what you do. It doesn't even necessarily mean that they like you as a person. Whereas on my fan accounts, it was everyone loved Stranger Things and we talked about it, or loved K-pop or something. Like, it's different. So social media can like totally be a double-edged sword, and I've seen it work like that for me. Because especially in the past week, social media has been nice to see like, okay, I'm not alone. Other people are feeling the way that I am. But also, it's hard because it's like, I also saw a lot of things I'm like, ugh, that made me really mad. And I don't think I would have seen that if I didn't go on social media today. But then I walked outside and people were like screaming and being rowdy and annoying. And I was like, shut up. Like, literally shut up. Like, it's okay. Like, congrats. Like, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. Anyway, so I guess I didn't even need social media to see some of the things that were going around recently. But yeah, before I get deeper, just be kind to people. You don't know what they're going through. You, like, if you're happy about how the past week has been going, congrats. you don't need to scream in people's faces all the time. It actually makes everyone respect you a lot less. Anyway, I'm getting off my soapbox, and just be a good person, because everyone is going through something, no matter what, no matter how happy they seem, no matter what's going on. People are going through things, which is why it's so important to have outlets to express yourself in. Anyway, so like I said, fan accounts really helped me. Social media honestly can be so helpful because it does bring you together with so many people. But like I said, there are also some people who post the craziest things. I'm like, I'm so surprised that in this day and age you feel comfortable talking about these things. But anyway, like, it connects you with them too. So it's hard. It's definitely really hard. But I would say social media in small doses is very helpful. I feel like TikTok has been helpful, especially for me, because it just, so many things come up at once, and it's usually something that's like for me that I'm like into. So that helps me feel less alone and happy and good. Something else that I would also recommend is, how do I word it? Indulging in media that you feel represented by. I have never watched so many movies and so many TV shows until like end of high school, beginning of college, because I was really coming to terms with the fact that I'm not straight, and I had just come from a very Catholic conservative school, and I never saw myself in anything, which is why I think it took so long for me to figure out. I so badly needed media and representation in media. Something that it came to me at the most perfect time was Heartstopper. Like the end of my senior year, I still wasn't super comfortable with things yet, and Heartstopper came out, and I was like, oh my God. Like, it was actually everything to me. And I keep trying to find different things like that, no matter how old it is. Like, I watched The L Word. That's from like 90s, early 2000s. It makes me happy. It makes me feel like, okay, other people are watching this too. So definitely try to find representation in media, whether it's a movie, TV show, book, play, something. I love theater. I love what I'm doing. I love being an actor because that's something I get to do. I get to create media for people. I'm actually working on a scene right now for my directing class. I'm directing it, and it's from this play called The Cake. And it's basically about a queer couple whose family friend wouldn't make their wedding cake for them because they were queer, didn't realize that. And I am directing a scene from that for one of my finals, and I could not be more excited. It's only going up like at my school, but I still can't wait to work on that. Even just, creating your own media, creating your own representation is something that also brings me just so much joy to know that like someone else could be seeing this and be like, wow, I really needed this. Music, I have playlists for everything. And once we figure out how to do our whole music thing on here, y'all are gonna hate to see me coming, because I have so many playlists. I have so many different themes. So like stay tuned for like Paws Radio music era, because like it's coming, and I am about to be blasting music 24/7. I am so ready. I cannot wait. But yes, things like that. Podcasts, like, doesn't have to be mine, but it could be mine. I listen to so many podcasts. I used to not, because I was like, why would I listen to a podcast? Like, what, I could just like watch something. But like sometimes it's so nice to just hear people speaking. And like, even if it's just like as you're falling asleep or as you're like cleaning your room or something, because I tend to listen to like the same few songs like to death. And I'm like, oh, like I don't feel like looking for anything new right now. Let me listen to a podcast. And just small things like that can make you feel so represented and so like good and so not alone. And I love that. Something else that's really great I went to a concert recently, and it was Sammy Ray and the Friends, one of my favorite bands ever. I love them so much. And that was also very much at the perfect time. The entire audience, everyone, all of their fans are just so kind. Like, Sammy Ray, like herself, she brings in like the kindest people ever. And you know that like when you walk into that audience, like everyone gets it. Like they understand. Like they accept you for who you are. Like all of that. Like it's the most beautiful feeling. So like events, concerts, anything, go to Pride, go to a protest, go to a concert. I know concerts can be so expensive, especially like Ticketmaster is insane. But this concert, because they're not like a super huge band, like tickets were really cheap. I want to say they were like $40, which to me is cheap for a concert. I think the cheapest I ever paid for a concert was like $18, and it was to see one of my favorite artists at the time, Wallace. I love her, she's great. Really small artist, didn't know that like not that many people knew her. Because all the time I'm like, oh, like I saw Wallace and it was only $18 and she gave me her set list and people were like, who is that? That's why music is so important, because you could find like such small communities and go to concerts for like such a low price, and it's great. It's great. Of course, it's not always like that, but definitely look into new music and smaller artists, because you could find such a community there, and I love it. Like someone like Sammy Ray, I want to see her like every single time she comes to New York, every single time. Like I would be devastated if I missed a Sammy Ray concert, to be honest with you. But yeah, that's something that's definitely helped me. I was just gonna say like one more thing, but I remembered something else because I have class after this. Depending on where you go to school, which most of you probably go to Adelphi if you're listening to this, but going to school and going to like picking certain classes that are really like, that really interest you and that like surround you with like-minded people is also so important. I'm in an asynchronous class right now about gender and sexuality, and I'm also in a in-person class called Family and Sexuality and Political Theory, and mostly everyone in those classes are super like-minded or willing to learn or something of the sort. And I started looking forward to going to my political theory class every single time that I have it, because the people in that class, like, we have so much fun. It's a great group of people. They all get it. Like, it's great. So even like classes can be so helpful to just feeling like you have a good group of people around you. But if not, the final thing I have to say is surround yourself with good people, even just your friends, your partner, anyone, because it's so important to have a support group when you genuinely don't know what could be happening next. It's so important to have people that you can laugh with and hang out with and just talk with about everything, and it's great. I love it so much, and I'm grateful to have such great friends around me, and yeah, it's super, super important. Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. I know I went off on like a little bit of a rant in the middle of that, because this is also an outlet for me to express myself, and I'm really grateful for that. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next week. Bye.